All right, are you ready to start on Project JOATMON? Because I definitely am. Okay, so tonight, you and I, are going to get started on Project JOATMON. So I've still got the 4-cylinder in here. So far on this project, I've done subframe connectors. I've done all of the wrapping on the trim. And I think that's pretty much it, other than obviously there's no hood here. So the reason I've done it this way is I've got a ton of snow outside and it's going to be here for another couple weeks. So I'm trying to coordinate the time that the car can roll outside so I can really just ungunk this whole thing, because it is covered in 30-something years of just oil and abuse. I really want to take it outside, scrape it, scrub it, get back down to the base paint and get to it. So I've got a couple weeks to do that, I think. I've got a lot of snow melt going on, and a couple weeks from now I think the snow will be gone and it'll be dry enough that I can take this out on a nice enough day, maybe 50s here. So tonight I'm going to start taking apart the car, I guess, and get it ready to go. So I've got to take the engine oil out. I'm going to take the transmission oil out, and that's just for the matter of when I take them out, I don't want them leaking through any seals. As you tip the transmission, it will tend to leak oil out the back seal. Transmission already is leaking enough, and so I've taken up all the took up all the plastic that was under it and everything that I had. If you saw through the subframes and that, I've taken all that out. It's all back down to concrete because I want this to be as clean as possible. So I've swept up because I don't want to lay in dirt. Nobody wants to lay in dirt. Do you want to lay in dirt? I don't. And so I'm going to get the fluids out tonight. I'm going to try to get the front fascia off. I'm going to try to get the fenders off tonight. And if you've never taken any of this off, I'm going to go kind of step by step. It'll be quick, but it will be a pretty explanatory of kind of how to go through it when you need to take this apart, because some people have never taken these apart and it's kind of a daunting task, or it can seem to be. So first, let me get the oil pan out and we're going to get the oil out. Okay, so the oil plug has, I don't know what to say about it. It's screwed. So anyway, I'm just going to pass on it. I'm not reusing that engine anyway. I'm going to try and sell it. So it's bad. Hopefully the video comes out in the GoPro, but man, it's tore up. Anyway, moving on. I got a V8 over there. It's okay. So I'm going to start taking out these wheel wells. So really, up under the back here, under the back of the fender, up along the front here, and then kind of usually on the bottom of the frame rails here, you're going to find either some screws or some push pins that'll keep in the fender liner itself. So this is pretty standard from all the 79s to the 93s all the way through. Just take your time. I like to use a light, and I'm going to use kind of my little light here. So it's usually a Phillips screws all the way around, wheel well across the bottom and that, and it's just one big plastic liner. So once you can get all the fasteners out, you kind of just fold it in, stuff it in, and you take it out. So I'm going to switch back to the GoPro, kind of show you what I'm working on here, and then I'm going to take each of these out. And the reason I'm doing that is because there's fasteners behind the fascia attached to the fender, and I think it's easier if you take this out, especially if you're going to do a swap and everything, take it out anyway. But you can take it out. It gives you a little bit easier access. Otherwise, you can go in through the bottom to get the fascia off. But since I'm going to take it all out anyway, because I want to do a bunch of wire tucking and everything else, I'm just going to take it out. So back to the GoPro, and we'll get this out. Okay, so here's the passenger side out. So I can kind of see it's gotten out there. You've got some, you got a vacuum canister right there. You got some other lines coming through there. Of course, the shock, brake line, all that fun stuff. You can look back through here. So you've got your intake there, your intake tube. Now this is a carb, and all the stuff has been taken out and put on a little mini thing. So you can kind of see back in here. Show you back so you can see these bolts that go around that perimeter. Those are what's holding the fender and fascia together. So those are just probably like a 10 millimeter. Take those apart all the way. Take out the bottom under there. You can kind of see there's push pins all the way across, and now I need to go get the driver's side out. Okay, so everything now is taken off the front end. So I've got the hood off, I've got the front fascia off, obviously the fenders are gone, and really there's nothing in there, I guess, that was really surprising to me. Everything came off relatively easy with a little bit of work. Nothing was truly rust locked in that, other than I guess the engine oil plug, which, I'll get by on that. So there's a little bit of rust in here, just I think from paint and all that stuff, and it'll clean right off. It's not rusted through; it's more like surface rust that I can clean off. Hit with some etching primer or something just to kind of get the surface coated, and then it'll be done. So one thing I did do though was to adjust this door. So if I can go back, this door itself actually didn't shut very well at all. It vibrated, it had poor seals. So really once I put the new seal on, the door didn't shut. It actually wanted to hit up here on the waist molding. So what I did actually is I just loosened these bolts after it was closed, got it to close, retightened it, and I've done that 3 or 4 times. And the reason is I just want it to be able to close pretty easily. So now it will open, but it's got some movement up and down. So I think I'm going to just have to put some new bushings in that, which will be done later on. I just need to buy those. They sell the kits, just needs to be done. But at least now the door will close. It hits a little bit here, so if you just give it a little bit up and in, it'll shut. New seals make it hard. Ta-da! And I've also got to work on some alignment here on the end of the door to the quarter glass. It's sticking out. Not a bad thing for wind noise, just looks like crap and I don't want to fix that. So what's next? Well, I think it's just going to be taking more stuff off. So I got to clean up all the dirt that's fallen out of the car, get the radiator fluid out, the coolant, drain it out, and then just start stripping it off. This is an AC car, so I've got an old condenser, all that other stuff that they just basically disconnected the lines in the engine bay but left all the other stuff. So that's all got to come out. Alright, so with that done, I think I'm going to start taking out the drivetrain on the piece. So go work on the drive shaft itself, get the trim across the bottom out, and you obviously seen I've taken out most of everything forward of the shock towers. Lower radiator support, obviously damaged, probably a bad toe, I'm going to guess, where it yanked it forward. So that's torn. At this point, I think it's going to be easier just to cut it off, put on a new one. I'm only putting a radiator back in. I'm not putting any AC back in the car. So I'll cut that off, weld in a new one, so I've got to work on that. Maybe get some support on that one. So I'm going to go out under the car, which isn't photogenic, and do that. So this part is brought to you by a no-name beer, because I don't have a beer sponsor. So beer companies, I need a beer sponsor. So I'm going to go down there and work on that, and we'll see where we get to tonight. Alright gang, so there it is. Through the magic of the internet, the 4-cylinder engine is out. So as you can see, it is pretty gross. Pretty gross. So I got to wheel this outside. I still need to cut the 4-cylinder exhaust, the tailpipe muffler, all that's welded together, so I need to cut that off after I fix my compressor. Maybe I'll do it with a hacksaw, just get it done. But I'm going to wheel this outside and degrease the crap out of this thing, because it is gross. Just show you my forearms. That's just from crawling underneath. Yeah, you can just see the badges of honor, right? So anyway, that's cleaned up. I'll show you. If you look behind me, there's all the old stuff from the coupe. Engine, obviously, right about here. You've got the fuel system out there. And then you've got everything else. So the 8.8 going in and everything's back there. So, the fun thing is, I started taking the seats out and I realized their floor is cracked. So I'll have to fix that. There is window expandifoam in there. got to fix that, and it's gonna be a time. So here's the question I posed to you guys. You know I'm gonna put the old 302 back in here out of the 92 just to have this thing running. So that'll take care of the fuel system. It'll be an EFI system, which will be high the pressure. Interior is all gonna be done. Everything else. Here's the question though I have for you. What should I put in here long term? What would you like to see me build long term? You've got like a 331, 347, EFI, go Phi-Tech, go regular stuff, 351 based, mod motor, Coyote, all that stuff. Sky's kind of the limit, I guess, at this point. I have stuff I'm going to put in there just to get the car going this year. But what do you want to see next year? So here's a poll. I want you guys to vote and tell me what you'd like to see built in the next year or so. That's it for this time. We will see you next time.